What's his name again?
Oh, Kristen Cukin.
From Senator Dane. Go ahead with board minutes.
I make a motion to accept the board minutes from April 15th, 2025.
I second that.
Public comment. Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead in the correspondence. One from the Flint Creek Dam Advisory Committee. Telling them about the model, the climate, they can give us, that one from Elena saying she sent us a comment, I didn't see my letter uploaded to the web page, so here it is, and version to replace the other. And she said, Happy Easter. That one.
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we have on our agenda, and policy was set that cameras and mics are to be on to participate. If you're on Zoom, then you use your camera and mic to participate. And the public, when they make a comment, our owl does zoom on them for comments. It doesn't zoom on people not making comments, but it doesn't have to. So we've answered all her questions.
Yep.
Any public comment on correspondence? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to public comment on matters with commissioner's jurisdiction. You come on up and state your name and stuff for the record, please.
Good. Hi, I'm Kristen Cukin with Senator Dane's office. And I was just wanted to stop by and give you some updates, the commissioners some updates, and the rest of the folks that are watching. Some updates on what Senator Danes has been up to in DC on behalf of Montanans. So this week was actually designated as the National Park Week, and Senator Danes introduced this bipartisan resolution and encourage people to get out. And from Yellowstone to Glacier, Montana has some of the most beautiful national parks in the country. And actually on April 19th, which is already passed, but there was free admission to the national parks. So just something to celebrate in the state of Montana. Senator Danes also is very also applauds President Trump's action to protect Montana's Colstrip power plant. President Trump issued an executive order basically delaying the implementation of what's called the MATS Act, which is Mercury and Toxic Substances Act. And what that would have done is required essentially kind of a scrubber type of technology on the emissions of the Colstrip power plant. It doesn't actually exist at a commercial level and would have shut it down, which would have basically robbed all of us of ubiquitous, reliable baseload power. So he has been a huge proponent of supporting Colstrip and keeping it going, and very grateful to hear President Trump's implementation of that executive order. Also, something that impacts rural health is Telehealth Expansion Act. that the senators put forth, and what that is if you have like high deductible medical plan, it allows you to actually utilize telehealth services as if you had already met your high deductible, and so at a lower rate, so it makes it more affordable for people. Another item that Senator Daines put forth was the Judicial Relief Clarification Act of 2026. And that would limit the federal court orders to parties directly before that court, rather than having universal injunctions across the United States. So when you hear of a judge in, say Mississippi suddenly is now instituting this particular injunction that impacts the president and the whole United States, it would just impact the parties directly before the court. And then also the senator co-sponsored a Rural Housing Reform Act, which would improve rural housing programs by offering more loans, grants, and rental assistance to rural communities across the country. So just a few. Also PILT, he continues to support PILT and its reauthorization through 2026.
Cool.
And SRS as well, and the reauthorization of that. He also submitted legislation for, it's called kind of the disparity of SRS funding, in which smaller communities are impacted because of this. The formula is basically the percentage of, as you all know, of forest land that you have in your county, and also the number of people that you actually have in that county. And that disparity would make sure that those rural communities aren't penalized by just being a smaller number of citizens in those areas. So that's something else he's working on.
And I don't think we ever did get any SRS last year.
Right, and so it would be retroactive if it's reauthorized through 2026. It would be retroactive.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
So that's all I have for you, and door is always open if you have any questions or concerns. All right.
Is there any
Thank
public
you.
comment for her?
My name is Trish Schreiber, SCHREIBER, and I come here from Helmville, and I am a retired, well, I don't like to use that word, I'm a former special educator. And anyway, I've been doing some work in Helena over the past few sessions based on education policy, and I'm just now kind of exploring government a little bit more, looking more at the county level and visiting the different commissioner meetings in our district, just to see what's going on and how you guys handle everything here, and I'm just here to learn. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Elena. Public comment. You have to be on Zoom. On video.
Okay, I have a question about this later about being on Zoom. I have to be on Zoom, but it's 9:07. What agenda item are you up to?
Public comment.
And you
I
had a
talking
discussion about
or-
being on video earlier?
Pardon me?
You had some kind of discussion about being on video earlier?
And correspondence with your letter, and I asked for public comment on that, and there was none, so I moved ahead.
Oh, because it's 9:07 and okay, fine. Again, on my correspondence, I want an answer in writing. Thank you.
Other public comments, sorry about that. Do you have a card and stuff?
I can take that out, yeah. I'll
Or
leave it.
can get it to Miranda for,
Sure.
sorry. Any other public comment? Pretty dry down lower.
Is it?
When the wind blowing up.
Yeah. Even all that moisture we've been getting, when it just strips it. There's Sounds like there's still a lot of snowpack up high though.
Yeah,
Snowmobilers,
thank you.
that's good, it's holding.
Yeah, there's still over, there's close to 2.5 feet at Garnett. I tried to.
Yeah.
I went up and then I went around the other way. The backside, there's quite a bit of snow, which is good.
I hear like Red Line has just a ton of snow, Red Line and Warm Spring and all that country back up in there.
I'm sure we're gonna fail.
Oh, yeah.
Is there any ice left on the lake?
Yeah, there was yesterday when I had to run the Anaconda. Can't be very thick, I wouldn't think.
Silver Lake still got some too?
Yeah. That's Stewart's Bay or whatever starting to break, you know, so. There's open water a little bit there. Started crushing any gravel.
Nobody's really started that, it's a crappy that they,
Yeah.
and then one guy was gonna come, I don't know, broke down. I just think they're trying to let it warm up a little bit more. This is our county attorney.
I'm Kristen, doing Senator Dane's office.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we got before,
Yeah.
I think so, yeah, okay. Yes.
This lady.
I'm another visitor.
Oh, okay.
Nice
Sorry.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I have a question for you, Blaine.
Okay,
Okay, we went through the correspondence and there was correspondence from Elena. We addressed her comments on Zoom because she was saying that we don't have the public on Zoom. And so then she wants this in writing. Apparently she didn't hear that we had addressed her letter through correspondence. So in writing, can we just send her an email and say we addressed our policy stands? Either cameras and mics on, or you don't attend Zoom.
yeah, I mean, you can do it any way you want there, but that sounds good. But one clarification there, you can attend Zoom, but just can't give public comment without your mics on, correct?
Well, and the thing is, we didn't say you have to have your camera on 24/7.
Yeah,
You only have to have your camera on when you want to make a public comment on Zoom.
that's,
Correct.
your policy is legal and how you respond to it, that sounds good.
Do we have to address this every single week because she refuses
Yeah, I would,
to put camera on?
good, yeah. I would consider this final, yeah, maybe a final response.
Go ahead, Elena.
You're not gonna be on camera. I don't think we should even.
No, if you don't have it on.
Yeah.
If you don't have your camera on, I can't let you on.
This has been going on for 6 weeks or better,
Now,
but her saying her camera doesn't work.
Yeah, you gave
Yeah.
reasonable time for her to get her camera to work.
She wants to be part of the program. She can just get her camera fixed.
Yeah.
We're following policy.
You go to testify about a House or Senate bill in committee, you have to have your camera on.
Keep sending all them emojis again.
Got little emojis flying around. Well, you can see your emojis pretty good there, Elena. You can't keep doing this.
No. Any other public comment? Who's David Edgy? Somebody. Not too that one.
What are you doing, track? Oh,
Yeah, he's been trying. Yeah,
I've been some full tracking so far.
yeah, the one last Friday, it was decently warm down in Missoula. Yeah, he was prom king, you see that?
Oh,
Yes, I saw
I
it.
just be sorry. Yeah, you're gonna see something about that, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, fun.
So here's one more question on this. If we're gonna be disrupted by little emojis, can we just kick her completely off Zoom?
You know, yeah, I mean,
I mean, she's disrupting with her emojis.
Cause we keep looking up, you see something, so you're looking up, so you're not missing somebody else, and then she just keeps.
yeah,
rolling.
I would, potentially, give her a warning on that, and then if it's continued, then she'll, yeah, that's my suggestion. Or can emojis be turned off? They're good at the standpoint of people can raise their hands, so we always shut that off.
Well, that's the thing, you catch something out of the corner eye, and she just keeps flooding it with that, it's just time to stop. You get your camera fixed and do it the way you're supposed to.
Child.
All right, we're a couple minutes early, like 3 minutes early. Well, is there any other public comments? See, just keep rolling. And we're gonna move ahead into a weekly report with Road and Bridge Superintendent Paul.
We're just, cold patching and blading roads. In between the storms. And yes, more patch here pretty quick, as soon as you can get it. I got a call in, but we may not be able to get any till the 1st of June, it depends when they make it, you know, so.
Is it gonna go up quite a bit, you thought, maybe, or?
I'm sure it's gonna go up some. But it is what it is, there's nothing we can do about it. That's for sure. But, yeah, other than that, that's about it, waiting for some culverts to get here, we got that one big culvert we gotta get changed, we have two sections of pipe there we gotta put in, and then we got another one with bare gulch we gotta get changed out. And then we're pretty well caught up on all the pipes, unless something else happens. You never know when the pipes are gonna cave in.
Right.
Just the way it is.
If you look at that one up the top, you know, one time, the big one, that lady called in and I gave her your number.
I've never talked to her.
Okay. You might look, you know, where that turned into that blue house, you'll see it there with,
Talk about Mansard.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's.
that'll be another one.
Probably hooked it with a snowplow blade, but it's pretty sharp.
Right before her,
I gave her your number.
You mentioned that you're cold patching and you're blading roads. Last week, when, we talked, you said you were going to bring us a list of the roads that you're actually blading. So that.
Did I?
This last week's blading or,
Yeah,
okay,
If some of them you gotta go back on and.
we'll have to go back on all
Bad
that.
spots, yeah.
Yeah. And then I wrote on this week of the last week. Sort of give the guy a rough idea anyway, yeah, but. We'll be on. Again and again and again, it's just the way it is.
Yeah,
Anderson looks good. We go down there.
Which
Do you have
one?
a time frame of when we're gonna maybe start to haul some gravel on some of these?
You know, it's kind of like when we get the spring rains on.
Right, kind of the end of May.
That's my plan. You know, we'll kind of see how it goes, third week maybe or something.
Yeah, see what else pops up for bad
Yeah.
spots or,
I'm still waiting for that foot of snow.
yeah, well, that's gonna be Memorial Day.
Yeah, true. True.
Or the 4th of July.
Put a can of soup in a camper.
Anything on solid waste?
No,
Still got using that backhoe? They
Yeah.
ever find out anything?
not yet.
It's gonna be a,
Wiring nightmare.
and then Kurz's let us use a backhoe.
Yeah, something in the wiring. Things getting so old. I mean, one of these days it's gonna have to get replaced. One of the Drummond offices.
That's one in Drummond, right?
Yeah, and it's old and it's wore out.
Yeah.
We've had Rick White, I don't know how many times, he's put a lot of
Weather and all that.
I got my, heard like looking for one, maybe one of these days, a good deal on something used will pop up, you know, but Lord knows.
Right.
They're hard to find. They get snatched up quick.
Yeah,
Just,
a good deal, Steve.
yeah. But anyway, that's where we're at with that. And hopefully we'll get it fixed this week. You know how that wiring harness stuff goes, it's meticulous and it's time consuming. It's just the way it is. And went down and met with Kenworth again. They're still hoping, now it'll be, hoping to be done this week with that drop. It's just the way it is. It just can't get parts.
Right.
And they're hoping to paint it middle of this week. And then I'm still waiting for the suspension on that to get here. It's not here yet. And they can't get it. But it'll get here when it gets here. And then when we get it back, then we got work to do. We'll have to have a welder come in and rebuild the front end of it and do I haven't did the plow work yet either because it gets the welder to do it. We'll do it all at once.
Do the brackets and all that.
Yeah. Then everything will be fitted.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with that.
Equipment's all running good. Mhm.
So far, so good.
You said you got a roller coming or when we get ready?
Yeah. Yeah, we got one. They haven't located it yet, but we'll have one when the time comes. They got it on hold. Coming from somewhere.
Did you ever confirm if those guys are gonna come up with that milling machine or whatever, like date wise?
He'll call me sometime this month in
Okay.
May.
Do
then we'll get it
that
done.
piece down there by the rodeo.
Yeah,
Boy, it's really going.
Yeah,
we've had them doing a lot of patching on that. It's just terrible.
yeah,
What are you gonna do? You just gotta keep fixing it. But, yeah, middle of May, if I haven't heard from them by then I'll start pushing them again, but.
that'd be pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, and then we'll get a price on what it's gonna cost to, what has to get added into that, get it laid back out. Anything is better than it is.
Yeah.
If returning to gravel is better than it is,
Right.
by far, hands down.
It's terrible.
Well, I haven't heard a rumor the state was looking at turning the scout tunnel back into gravel from like,
That's the fact.
they are gonna.
They're talking about it.
Oh, what are they looking at, starting at a trail gulch or at Moose Lake?
No, it sounds like Moose Lake.
From there all the way to the mine, go back to gravel?
It'd be way better off.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that road's horrible.
It is. I don't know who's gonna take care of it.
right.
No.
And I'm getting some calls from subdivisions wanting to, doing some blading and magging, and I just told them we don't do that at all, they have to call you guys, but.
Yeah,
Need to get our stuff.
I did tell them that, I can figure out the miles if we're ready, you know, we can give them a price on putting mag down. We've done that. And we've also learned a hard lesson on that. So that'll be,
One of your games.
that'll be, paid up front, obviously, before we're doing any of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, little learned.
Did we ever get paid from Blackfoot on the weather outfit? You know, I'm gonna ask that.
Not yet, but, you know what, I just talked to them last week, so we should give them this week, and then if we're not, by next Tuesday, if we're not paid, I would think that a letter should go to them. And I did tell them, Blackfoot, that we shouldn't be chasing the money, they should if they're a contractor, because
Yeah.
Good point.
that's kind of where,
Oh, that was in the,
Yeah. Well, then, we want to better keep that.
well, I don't think it should be in the activity sheet, so that's why I pulled it out. So where do you wanna put it in the road?
Filing system over there.
I had a call from a landowner out of Drummond where they had the subcontractor damaged a pipe and they never did. The subcontractor never did do anything about it, so I let JD Rain on.
Yeah, I get quite a few calls on that
Yeah.
stuff. They did a lot of that when it was wet, I'm sinking, I was, you know, where they mix that dirt with the snow and people really, most of the ones that I've got called are on the state, so that's gonna be up to them. to do that.
Jeremiah emailed me on the bridge repair in Drummond. And, they wanna know about what signs, if they gotta have electronic signs, stop signs and all that stuff up there. And I told them, there's just really no reason to have that, if they can put on both ends of that road, pull it through traffic.
Yeah.
And, have just a one lane bridge ahead for the people that do live there. And once they start working on it, they figure 2 or 3 weeks, the people that live there are gonna start going away from that bridge, you know?
Yeah,
And I just figured that would be fine rather than that, because it's quite a more of an expense to, if you put all electronic
Yeah.
stuff
Oh,
on.
wow.
So.
Yeah.
That's what my thoughts, I told them.
That'll be fine, I think. Do.
It's signed, you know. Getting, a lot of concerns on Gold Coin Bridge. It's not very good shape and, now there's a house being built there, for example, and so concrete trucks are going over it and the big worry is there's gonna be more houses being built up there, which there's gonna be. And there's no alternative to that. But it's on the radar of what all it is, you know.
And that's one of them that we put into doing that grant.
Grant on.
That grant, so hopefully something will come out on that.
I just think, my opinion is we should have the engineering people come, look at that bridge and put a weight limit on it. And that way, if the concrete trucks are hauling over there, they can haul part of the load,
Lighter loads, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Jeremiah's coming to look at them, right?
Yeah, you should be.
We should definitely get a weight limit on that.
Right.
They were
Because
there.
if they fall through how it stands right now, we have no weight limit on there at all. If somebody falls through that, that's on us.
Yeah.
Maybe we better give him an email right away, so, cause it's gonna start coming if this weather changes,
When was he planning on coming?
not tell
I don't know if he's jumping on the day for the grant, which is for the dam, but
Oh, yeah, I can talk to him, yeah.
he should be on today.
Okay. But yeah, cause they're gonna start hauling it.
Oh, you just know, yeah.
Well, I heard a concrete truck and a pump truck out Rock Creek yesterday. Oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
Started.
Rafts are already going
Yeah.
down there blading. Them guys, they just won't go down, you know how it is, they're just,
Oh, yeah, them rafts been there for a month.
yeah.
How's that? I haven't been down there, but how's that spot healing up down there by Jim Walden's house there,
It's getting better, but it's still gonna be, it'll be the middle of May.
right? That's always a bad spot right there. Is
If
there
frost just comes out of there,
are we gonna have to like build that road up in the future, all like more like a pit run or
at some point, we'd have to dig it all out.
just dig it, get up?
Dig it out and put a bunch of big rock in there and then,
And do it.
we had to do that to a few different spots, but once it gets over, once the frost,
Wanna heal
then
up,
it's just,
yeah.
yeah.
We
It's
know-
funny, cause that'll heal and then down the road a ways, another one will occur.
Yeah,
You know, just as the frost comes out.
yeah.
Do you have any other comments on the solid waste or?
No. Todd did go down and meet with John and got his training all done for the refrigerant and stuff, so
Oh, good.
that's all done.
Have one to eat lunch?
Yeah.
Any public comment? Guys have anything? Well, I have.
All right.
Have a good one.
See you later, thanks.
Have a good one.
Them books probably come next week.
Take a note of that.
I was just thinking, cause he gave me the other one, we're gonna do that weekly, so how we got started.
All right,
I'll have
He's still out there. They
looking at the
can-
rails and
Those,
that.
yeah,
sign and
that one,
all.
how-
We
thank
can
you.
Start doing that
Thanks,
weekly.
Wayne.
I just asked him if that other stuff came, yeah. We got all that, yeah.
The books.
I think if we can send Jeremiah a little note so he can get Jonathan or one of them guys out right away, otherwise we'll be out a couple more weeks.
To look at the
Right,
bridge.
yeah, we really need to look and get a weight limit on that.
So on that, the road safety program and training program, doesn't that have to be adopted? Motion made and adopted, or it's official
On that walk around stuff,
on
The,
having a safety program and training program with what we've been doing, don't we have to adopt that? It's never been officially adopted.
Yeah,
right, but
I
they
think
were,
you're gonna wait to hear back from, the road crew to have them look at it and then make
So,
your final changes.
so they're looking at it now,
he just got them.
okay,
so we make sure and put it on the agenda, so we're
Yeah.
not waiting, let's,
so that it's,
and we'll tell Paul to tell them.
you officially have a program, so motion made.
In 1 or 2 weeks, or what do you?
Well, I think 1 week, 'cause we gotta, yeah, I don't know what it'll be, no. I'm waiting. Oh, Paul,
Just, yeah, let them know to get after it.
So do we have our manual thing kind of all completed with the road kind of manual that we were compiling?
Mhm.
Yep, that's what he
Okay,
just
so is that something that we would adopt?
Yes,
Once they look it over, right?
Yeah.
you make your final changes.
We just want to make it official.
It'll be nice to have that in. They'll be doing the walkarounds right now on it,
Yeah,
even if, you know, pickups, trucks, and, well, they could be
Yeah.
walking around everything.
so the walk around is actually safety stuff, right? And then in the safety, they're going to have training once a year too.
If they're gonna have training whenever we get it, when
Okay.
we, cause like they, you know, they just did this refrigerator and then they did that lawnmower or the mower
Mower thing,
thing,
yeah.
and they did something else too. That only puts you on. They're gonna go pretty fast.
so I'm thinking. Cause each book has 30 sheets in it, a month's worth.
4 graders,
I get it.
loaders,
I mean, you get a 50 pack.
yeah, I'd be 100 pack.
I can double that.
I think
Or
I'm
those,
looking
get
at
100 of them.
trying to count, cause they're gonna have the mower, you got 4 graders, and what, you know, and water.
So how many, are they going to be in the cruise pocket or in the vehicle?
In the vehicle.
So in the vehicle, how many vehicles are we gonna have it in all the vehicles?
We got plenty for vehicles. This is just gonna be for equipment.
Oh, okay.
It's different.
That's why I'm
Like
trying
cutting
to
edges
count
and all
all
that.
that, gosh.
We just started with 100 pack.
Yeah. Cause they're not gonna be in them every day, you know, it'll be different ones, but.
Right.
And that's the thing, we're gonna have to look, you know, when they do it, and when on their time sheets, and say, well, you didn't say you were in there that day, you got this on your time, but you didn't fill it out, listen, you're gonna have to push it.
One thing, once you have those policies in place, they have to be followed, and you violate them and you're negligent per se.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead and, a couple minutes early, we'll go into the dam tenders report. The lake today, this morning is 6428.93, and I'm not quite sure what was going out, cause he moved it, and then I never heard back. I sent Paul a thing, but I never heard back. Just kinda want to know.
What the exact
Yeah,
councils were.
we've been writing, we made it, you know, we told, we need to write in there, so we know what was going out in that month. And I'm not sure what it is today. But we're 6.84 below full, last week we were 7.34. Last week when we did it, it was at 20 CF.
Yeah, you can increase that a bit.
We didn't get moisture, no, so.
Well, and what Paul Talon say, like. Warm Springs was 100 and some still percent, and they're still getting snow up there. And look real quick, see what Pearson Meadows is.
Yeah, on that last, I thought Peterson was over 100 still, like 100 and. We seen something here. I want a report from the advisory. Had some stuff on it. Very many people there, huh?
Oh yeah, Peterson Meadows is still 100% normal.
The currently at 21 CFS outposts,
One,
and see, it stands pretty steady, right?
yeah, we're gaining, I mean, we're
Yeah, so
6.84, so we go 7.34, so I mean, it's coming.
yeah,
11 inch of the. 11 inch of the moisture, Peterson Meadows. What water?
yeah, you can still ski the backside of Discovery.
Yeah.
Good skiing.
So I'd entertain a motion on what you think.
20. Or no inflows, right?
I think we do like we did last week, Francis, but we need to know ahead, you know, just to go, you know, say, I guess, whatever, everybody just don't want, you know, like we talked, that.
Want to keep it at inflow, not above. Yeah.
Right, yep. So a motion to keep it. In flow.
Outflow matching.
Oh, okay, so like you were a little upset with the fact that Paul went and changed it and then didn't tell anybody or emailed somebody, what was
Oh,
that about?
He did tell us, but I think Commissioner Adler was concerned about it going up, outflows going above inflows, so making sure it's
Right.
washed. And
And then we know first before, like. Right, he
Yeah,
gives a
just a little note
suggestion.
to us, let us know, cause
Yeah.
people are asking, well, now he's gonna be adjusting it all the time, and it's not until we give him the permission.
Yeah,
That's my biggest concern.
So in other words, he needs to be told that he needs to let us know if he's gonna raise it up. Or,
Oh, no,
I think or anything, it's gotta turn it down, I mean, we need to be
okay,
informed.
okay, all right, so I'll second that motion.
Any public comment? Morning, Brad. Go ahead.
Morning. Yeah, no, that sounds reasonable to me, and I imagine the other folks at FWP will probably feel that way too. But yeah, that sounds reasonable to me.
Thanks, Brad, appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Any other public comment on this? This guy,
Ask him if he wants to get public comment.
are you public comment on the dam? Oh, shut on. All right, all in favor?
I,
All right, motion carried and passed. Yeah, my biggest concern was just so we know.
Yeah. From when the snow breaks, we're really, I mean, maybe that week kind of give them like, if you have to do it, and let us know, but if it's just bumping it up
A little bit, it's not
one
that.
CFS or whatever, it's. Those folks will be here next week sometime.
Yes, first claim, this is the one that's signed for the dam, that we were trying to get done for a long time. It's a sign we had to have for the dam, no swimming and stuff. Jackie went through somebody in Missouri just to get them done. Go ahead and jump right in the county claims. I just want to tell you that was the one that.
did you want him to look at the claims and then you sign them, or,
I do that.
or look at the list?
Paper for the whole house.
Mhm.
Oh, there's someone that's gonna be calling you. I don't know if they did.
Not yet.
Okay.
Put it out. Logan Health Medical one. Why is it coming out of comprehensive insurance?
Which one?
It's Logan Health.
I thought that was just our safety stuff. I thought that was just our safety stuff again, because we did the CPR classes. Shouldn't come
That
out.
shouldn't come out of comprehensive.
No, it come out of safety, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we talked last.
Yeah, and I asked her if safety was in the general fund and she said, yeah, right?
Right.
So she took it out of comprehensive for $260. I don't recall us saying take it out of comp.
No, don't be, I thought we talked about taking it out of that safety. I thought that's what we agreed on to do it that way, cause there was,
Yeah, cause it's not a contingency and it has nothing to do with comp insurance. Right?
Yeah,
right,
right. other than,
So CPR classes can't come out of comp. They have to come out of some kind of safety.
Could have to be a safety fund.
Yeah.
That's what I thought we agreed on.
Good fellow.
it's paying the big bucks for 'em.
Well, that's like when I gave a receipt for those pre-trip books too. I mean, how's that gonna come out? Of that safety then, or do we ever figure out what that's
Well,
gonna?
this is, to me, this is something that it pertains to the road and you're gonna have to keep doing it. And it's something that's in the road and should be coming out of the road, I think, because it's directly just the road. And if it's a safety, it'd be a countywide thing.
Well, then you got the dumps that are gonna be doing
And
it
the
too with
dumps.
equipment, and then the car.
Do they, yeah, you're looking at one car, 2 dump sites.
Good pro rata,
Yeah,
The weed deal.
or just safety, or just.
I don't know, it just.
If you have pro rata, that's gonna be a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
probably
did a
safety.
lump deal into the safety. If it's a safety
Yeah.
issue with equipment. Like, I might, what I'm thinking. I don't know. if we-
Yeah, we'll have to look at that budget, that expenditure thing and just make sure that. I guess countywide, it would be just that, I don't know.
Your decision.
This, the mapping deal, is this the new map that we agreed to?
He's been, also
25.
doing some work on, mapping county roads here,
Yeah.
they're looking to take over from the
What
Forest
fund
Service.
is it coming out of?
I don't know that.
911.
Yeah. That
Yeah, so
fund is
this is
healthy.
911, he has a contract where he does ongoing mapping.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so it's like.
Yeah,
quarterly
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Okay.
He is working on Little Coin, Wyman.
Yeah.
Those, Royal Gold, Royal, oh, yeah.
So
I had to change to that one.
he changed it. Okay.
You know that. Yeah.
Just discussing, Paul mentioned the books and stuff that the road has to do and that the vehicles. And I kind of mentioned be out of road, but then he said we've got solid waste and we've got the county car. How about the sheriff's cars? Do they have to have one in theirs?
I think they're their own,
They take care of theirs themselves.
yeah, I think we talked
Yeah, I
about
don't think there's any stuff for them, I mean, they.
So you feel it come out of safety too, instead of, okay,
that. I don't know how you prorate it to, if we get so many bucks in the car, I mean, easier just to, I think.
yeah, it would be, we just have to make sure that
Like you
that's a
said,
new addition to
Yeah.
the safety.
Yeah,
make sure there's one in the county car, so when people,
Yeah.
take
cause
it,
you get 10, 15 people a year driving.
Yeah.
They need to walk around, make sure.
and then you're gonna be at the bottom of them, you know, at the end of your drive or whatever, you hear a clunk in the front right tire, you can write that down, turn it in and.
Just so I know.
Yeah, that needs to be looked at, you know,
I'm
instead
gonna
of-
try not to drive that.
They're not hard.
We'll give you a practice.
Check the oil. No.
It's created so many policies, no one wants to drive.
How's the
It's easier to say how to drive my own. I know the clunks in it.
Sounds like Congress.
You get your map thing?
I've got this, but this is the old one. This isn't the new one. And I was supposed to explain myself a little better and I haven't had a chance to talk to him. To
Oh.
mapping. Not yet. I have this.
Stuff the claims.
I'll make a motion, we accept the claims for March 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Think that's gonna be on for this.
Yeah. He's
I would imagine.
Craig Erickson. He's on.
Oh, yeah.
Is this,
We'll just wait till 10 then.
Yeah.
I think there's other people.
so this is, we have to get it sent in because it's not approved as of yet, right?
The,
The,
Just for that other grant.
the RD.
yeah, you haven't approved it yet. You authorize them to
Does it have
apply
to-
for it, but haven't
Okay.
approved it.
There's that secondary grant that Jeremiah was telling us about, right? That we should put in.
Now we can tell them to go after and get it ready.
Yeah.
Once they have it.
No guarantees, but it's still worth
Trying
trying.
Hopefully have a little pullback here. I'm putting down there.
Never, never, never not match, ever, ever, ever. Again.
Oh, it looks good between sanitation and solid waste.
Okay, now the sanitation is, Chad.
Oh,
He's the Tri-County sanitation.
All right.
Yeah, and then solid waste is its own solid waste.
All right.
Going,
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he goes and inspects the restaurants and stuff
Yeah,
and inspects, what is it? What do you call them?
Septic.
Septic system.
yeah,
for new build.
Yeah.
yeah. Approve all those.
Did she say she was confused? What's that?
Well, we knew it. Couple minutes early, but we'll go ahead and go into the RDG planning grant draft application with Great West. We have it, the packet. And this is, we gave you permission to go ahead and file or see if we can get it. We just have to approve it and get it sent in.
Correct, yeah, it's these approved application. There they are.
You have any comments, Craig?
Good morning, commissioners. Sorry, I was working on the application. I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said previous to your question. Scott, I'm sorry.
Just passing it on to everybody that we had you go ahead and apply for this and we were just gonna approve it and get it sent in right away and see if there's any other comments on it or.
That's fine. I do need the authorization statement and the commitment of funds, which you have. I am working on the application, and then once I have it ready, I would imagine that it would be Miranda or one of you that submits the application, because I'm piggybacking on your account, commissioners. One question I do have is who at Granite County should be the project contact? And the DNRC wants somebody from the local government. So that could be any one of you or, well, whoever you want, frankly.
Would it be easier to come through Miranda and then she can reach out to you?
I think it'd be better to go through, because especially on emails, mine's so messed up that if you could send me emails to Miranda and then she'll get a hold of me right away and I can get a hold of you.
Perfect. So Scott, as the commission chair, you're going to be the authorized representative, and then Miranda will be the project contact, and then she can direct traffic whichever direction it needs to be directed. Okay.
I think it's better that way, and then we have a paper trail and everything right here, and mine's so messed up.
That sounds good, commissioners. And just a refresher, I mean, I'm sure you know this, but the application is due tomorrow. I'm going to make every effort to have the initial draft done today and have it reviewed by Jeremiah either this afternoon or tomorrow. And then once it's ready, I'll let you know. Well, you can get in the application anytime and see what we're doing, but I'll let you know, and then you can review it. And if you have any heartburn with anything, obviously let me know and we'll make any changes that you feel are necessary. And then once you're satisfied with the application, just hit submit, and then we'll see what happens.
So looks good to me. We're just gonna entertain a motion and we can get it over to you right away, give you a little more time and go from there. It looks good to me. You guys comments?
I make a motion that the authorized signature from our chairman for the DNRC Conservation and Resource Development Division be signed and ready to submit by tomorrow. Right?
Yeah, the application.
Second that motion.
By public comments, Frank, would you state your name and come up so people to see and hear you, please?
Frank Prince. I was just curious, do you have a project in mind that you're gonna use that grant money's for?
That Part 12D report, is something that's coming up again, and we just need money to help.
Or what is it?
It's a Part 12D report.
The comprehensive
It's,
assessment, the dam,
the dam.
this 5-year one is gonna be
Yeah.
a made the more major one.
For the Point Creek Dam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Okay, well, unless you have further question, commissioners, I'll let you move on to your next agenda item. And Miranda, just get me the two signed documents when you can, and I'll attach them to the application. And I'll let you all know when it's ready to be reviewed and submitted. Okay.
Hey, Blaine has a question.
You were gonna ask him potentially about Gold Coin Bridge, having looked at that, or?
Oh, yeah. Could you have Jeremiah, or mention it to Jeremiah, see if he can get somebody out to Gold Coin Bridge here by Maxville? We need to put a weight limit on it. They're gonna start hauling, cement, and the bridge is pretty rough shape. But we need to have an engineer look at it and put a weight limit on it.
Yes, sir. I'll let them know. I'll send an email as soon as we're done here. And you said that's Gold Coin Bridge?
Yeah, Gold Coin Bridge.
Okay. I will let him know immediately.
Anything else, anybody? No. All right, well, thank you very much and hope we get it.
Okay, well, it's a good project and we'll see what happens. But thank you for your help, commissioners. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Anybody else come in this? Sure, or just us? I'll wait a few minutes, it's kind of early.
Little John will be on Zoom.
Okay.
Thank you. So the flood ambulance, it's the runs. And there's no revenue that's coming in. That's why we're wanting to update. It's
And
spending money.
I called Sarah and Zach after her, and she gave me a pretty good update, so but I'll let her explain it once we talking about you. I'm just saying that I talked to you and you gave me an update, so once you get ready, I'll let you explain, okay? Thanks. Wait a few minutes for a little John. I checked, it came in blank. Should have been a check from 7,500 from Rancho Rockwood one. Does it show that? Huh?
They haven't posited yet.
Oh, well, never mind.
We'll tell you when we get started.
Okay. I was just trying to look up the budget so I kind of know where everybody's sitting.
One here for 74.71. Is that it? The receipt. Okay. But that doesn't have anything to do with ambulance runs. That's a donation.
minutes early, but we'll go ahead, you can come on up there and Jason or whoever. We talked about this last week a little bit, and the reason I put it on the agenda, just kind of get an update and find out what was going on, and Sarah explained to me, and I found out a lot more, but I'll let her go ahead and explain what, because there's no money coming in for the ambulance going out, but she can explain it. I wasn't trying to put in a spot.
No, no,
I
it's
know,
fine.
but-
So when you, let's say we got an ambulance call, we do the run, you fill out a PCR, it's called patient care report. And whenever you go to the hospital, whatever the hospital is, you get a face sheet, which just gives patient demographic information, home addresses, phone numbers, and insurance information, which is the most important part, obviously. So Phillipsburg has not completed a PCR and has not turned in one to me to be able to bill since would be early 2024, or right after I took over the billing.
Here.
Yes.
Here.
So, they did give me 5 PCRs in 2024. And 4 out of 5 of them were Medicare's, and they have used their allotted amount of insurance so that we don't get any money, which is a normal thing, that's not anything out of the ordinary. The 5th out of those ones, so 1 out of 5, had the incorrect insurance information on that face sheet. So we weren't able to bill that because, we're billing the wrong person's insurance. So it doesn't, the insurance, we don't have this patient, why would I pay you? So the biggest issue, is that we're just not receiving run reports, and it's impossible to bill without that being done. And, it's a compliance issue too, because the state of Montana needs reports done. If you can't just take someone, have no record of it. And what else?
The whole EIN, so
Oh,
Medicare,
yes.
you're allowed to bill Medicare. The EIN number is used in Drummond, so we have one in our county. So we're set up as a county EMS system, but we're not set up that way to operate that way. So we have 2 separate budgets, so you have Peaburg ambulance, you got Drummond. We bill in Drummond, we bill in Phillipsburg. So that being said, we have one Medicare number for the county. So we can't bill for Phillipsburg ambulance and Medicare because it doesn't have separate VIN numbers on the ambulance. And there's a lot of stipulations by the government. So if we bill for Phillipsburg ambulance under Drummond's EIN, it's a felony. So you can't, it's Medicare fraud. So you have to set these things up separately. We're in this county not set up that way, because obviously we have one EIN for the whole county for this. So I don't feel comfortable billing those separately because we have to do something.
How do you set that up?
This is truthfully, we're losing way too much money to try to assist. So we're here to say I want to opt out of my 30 day on the billing process. We pay, one of our guys is on right now, he does our billing out of Ohio. And we pay him a salary to do this, and we've collected it to see end of the year, but we can't get compliance here. So when Little John left, he took a leave of absence because he's doing this federal law enforcement thing. He's gonna come back, but it's still gonna be a nightmare. And it is just brutal.
And this has been reminded to Phillipsburg ambulance after Lil John has left in their meetings, but there's no change.
So are you doing Drummond's billing?
No.
Soulstone.
Soulstone and Drummond, yes.
Okay, so I think both the ambulances were at one point going through Soulstone. So why would all of a sudden the Medicare number be?
They were billing, and I don't know because I'm not Soulstone, but the way that I understand it is Soulstone was billing under one Medicare number. Cause the EIN is one thing, which, if they didn't have.
Soulstone, if you remember right, when we took this over, Soulstone hadn't billed anything.
So what you're saying
For
is
years.
that Peaburg ambulance needs a Medicare number?
They need a separate EIN first.
Yeah, so
So
why don't we get that done?
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, I
that.
didn't either.
The,
That's all new. That's
Yeah,
what
we
happened.
mentioned it when we first took over this, and it just went to the wayside. But it's okay. It's, like I said, it's just something. And if you go back to Soulstone with them, so Soulstone was not billing when we took over. They were billing Drummond, but nobody was in compliance here. The girl who worked at the hospital was supposed to be getting all this information
Right.
to them, but nothing was.
Right.
So we sat on over 100 patient care reports for 2 years that we tried to rebill, but it was out of the allotted time limit. So, and then from our standpoint, when we bill, it goes to that bank account. It doesn't come to us, but we've received nothing in there. So
So is the county side of it responsible to get the medical ID number from
Yeah,
Medicare?
yeah.
well, it should.
Who applies for that?
100%. Yeah, that's why we brought Frank, because they're running theirs right.
Yeah, Frank, come up to the state, I
Yeah.
forgot, you guys are the state.
Oh,
I forgot.
Oh, Frank Perez. Drummond ambulance. So Soulstone, we're going through this right now, what we have to do, and we have to update our Medicare license number, and we have to do it every 2 years. So you have to have this EIN number and whatnot. And then it's basically a form that you fill out basically, and then so that they can bill Medicare. But to be in compliance with that, what's the system that we fill out? Image trend. You have to put your PCRs on image trend every single run within 48 hours. And if you don't do that, you're not in compliance with the state. And that's so that if you're not in compliance with that PCR, then then your billing company cannot bill Medicare or Medicaid. But we do that ourselves, we do that. We have to get that.
Did Phillipsburg have it once upon a time and just didn't get
Renewed.
reapplied for,
no,
or
they've
never did
never had
that?
it. They've never.
They've never had it? That doesn't seem right to me because
That's what they're saying, yeah.
they've been in existence for 50+ years.
Yeah. Well, before that, we weren't billing. So it's like my department in Ohio, we didn't bill, so we didn't apply for Medicaid, Medicare. So we never got all of our licensure and everything because we don't bill our citizens there, so.
And Phillipsburg did have it set up with Soulstone or previous, but they never sent any PCRs in, so
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, so
Well,
they dropped the ball.
who's in charge down here?
It's Maxwell and Jesse.
Yes, yeah.
State
On,
Maxwell.
Little John's absence, yeah, is Max Statler and, Jesse Belding were the two in charge of both organizations.
What they're saying is evidence towards needing someone that's a paid person to run it if you're gonna, or at least to handle that sort of thing, that things are slipping through the cracks.
There is a larger compliancy issue even without PCRs. You know, the ambulance had to be out of service at least 3 or 4 days a couple weeks ago because they were out of compliance. They didn't have enough equipment on their ambulance to be able to run the state of Montana.
That's what I was asking about buying stuff, and that's what we
Yeah,
do.
yeah, for the.
That's the ambulance out here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only one we're really talking about.
Right.
Frank's come along because he was just,
Knowledgeable.
Frank's
Yeah,
already.
if you just had any questions, we did it.
Yeah.
come on, just come along.
For the ride.
At the beginning of this, we had the wrong view on Drummond ambulance. You know, because they were so like hard, I don't know a better word to say it. Confrontational is what. But come to find out that they weren't, they're running it right, so digging into it, they actually are, so we should duplicate that process down here, the way Tim and Monica run it up there.
Yeah.
So 100%, that's the Montana way, not the outside.
So you guys kind of want out of that billing thing just because of.
We do, so
Too
we,
much
yeah,
and you'll never
no,
get it.
we are, you know, we're not appreciated here. We run into headaches everywhere we go in this county. This has probably been one of the worst non-accepting counties that we've operated, really. Yes, sir. So we have lost a lot of money here. We want to implement all of us, so we're gonna stay here. We've made friends since we've been here. We got a house, but I don't want to volunteer here.
And it's.
So,
Wait, you can't, I mean.
No.
yeah, and it's,
Would you be willing to, do, coast to coast runs in this end of the valley? or-
you know, we actually that's another reason we started the new company here. It's Granite
Yeah,
Public Safety. So Frank's a part of this as well. The coast to coast side, no, we're gonna go back nationwide with it, because we just can't afford it. If the grant of public safety doesn't work out, then yeah, it's gonna be it. So Phillipsburg voted to not have our narcotics. They don't want drugs used, they want to load patients and just go to the hospital. That's great, you guys just paid us. That was a year ago, Bill. That was a year ago for our drugs that we used on a volunteer ambulance. So yes, it was only $980 some, but that's a lot of money to a private company that's trying to make it. So we just received that check, what, 3-4 days ago now for a
But
year.
that check wasn't, or that claim wasn't submitted until just a few.
Exactly.
And that's the
I'm
other
not
issue.
saying it's on you three at all.
No.
That's the issue. We got it approved a year ago from the association over here. It never made it here. So we went to them 3 different times. Can you please put our billing? We teach an EMT class, $900 a person. Everywhere else is $1,200 to $1,500. So we're trying to help the local community at $900. But they keep sending all their students to the Missoula class. So we're Frank and Monica, we have 6 from Helmville in this class. Helmville, it's not even in our county.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can see the fighting that it's not
Who's
working.
the CEO at the hospital now?
Ryan,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna,
But regardless, yeah,
may I be blunt?
absolutely.
Are you saying that Phillipsburg ambulance does not appreciate you and does not work with you?
Nobody in the county, we did a search and rescue call the other night, we brought our canine out, and the guy that was the ex-husband was flat out called her fat, you're too fat to work a
Yeah.
canine.
I'm out there at 2 a.m. and
That was his
2
exact
feet of
words
snow.
on body
The
camera.
person you're the
they're
family helping.
helping.
I actually don't see any representative from Peaburg ambulance here today.
He's on,
Robert
well, he should
Littlejohn
be
is on
on
Zoom.
Zoom.
I think that's Robert Littlejohn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's on,
well, his keeps coming and blanking off, but don't,
yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
on now.
Are you
So
on,
it's
Robert?
He needs his camera on.
You'll have
Yeah,
to
I'm
be
here.
on- You have to be on video.
He's probably on staff.
There he is.
There we go.
Yeah, so Little John, if you remember right, he took a leave of absence, he sent an email in, he took a leave of absence from the ambulance service. Putting Maxwell
Yeah.
Maxwell and Jesse in charge. So that's when all of our problems really started, because there's no communication between them and you guys, or you and them guys. Because we didn't even know until today who was in charge. So that's not our battle, that's between you and them and you. I can just tell you from our side that we've tried. I really have. I can go on record saying we have given everything to this county to make this work. We really have. But when we just get this constant battle, why am I getting up at 4 a.m? You know, to spend my own money?
That's
So,
not,
you know what I mean? And we take calls and it costs us $500 to $600 in drugs. When Frank and Monica, they set it up perfectly to where we just get reimbursed. There you go. And it really works well because it's expensive. We took 2 calls in a day and a half. One's heart rate was 256 beats a minute. The next guy was 40 beats a minute. That's a lot of drugs I gotta give to increase the heart rate. The other one, I had to stop the heart on it to get it going again, but then you gotta give another drug to get it back going. And that one costs us probably $1,000 in drugs.
and they're not getting nothing back.
We do with
Them,
them.
but I think here, we're not getting nothing.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
But on the flip side of those 2 patients, you know, who's to say, but in our experience, if they didn't receive those drugs and didn't receive that paramedic care, they would have died.
And one question on that, is it you guys are getting, you have an account set up to get those drugs or whatever? How
Yeah, so
does that
that's the
work?
easy route. So we have our DEA. So being the private side, we have our drug enforcement agency number. So that way the volunteer services don't have to track it or there's a lot of money involved to get your DEA and being in compliance. So when you're a volunteer department, you can't keep up on seal logs daily. So that's the hard part. So we have daily seal logs that you have to sign off. So when they come to inspect they might do a random and they want to count for all your morphine, fentanyl, or ketamine or something like that. So, yeah, you don't want $10,000 on hand.
And that's why we never did it. And we can administer the drugs, Monica and I can, but we never did that because of the hassle of it. So that's when they're set up like that. So we can operate under that license and we we've already had this approved with our medical director and he's all on board, so it's a total risk-free thing for us to have medications, but it takes the weight of the volunteer. It takes that every day going down and checking the blocks and counting them all and stuff like that, so, yeah, it's helped.
So on opting out on taking care of the billing, did we have a contract that?
We do, but that's why I'll get with Blaine afterwards, but I think we did have a 30-day.
Get out.
And if there isn't, then
Well,
obviously we'll continue.
I think I encourage the commission to accept accept the
That's why I
mutual
brought it up.
termination of that.
You can't sit here and run on nothing.
Truthfully,
just 'cause-
as many calls as they run there, so we proposed hiring and paying the person full-time to operate this at 75,000 a year. It costs 158 for one person. Regardless, we didn't go that direction to run it that way. That's what you need to do if you want to bill. My suggestion down here is not billing. There's not really enough calls to go through the headache of soft billing here. So they ran a total, we got the truck out 4 times. Don't quote me the exact number, but it was under 5 for over 12 calls. So the sheriff's office, Chris, transported 4 of them in his cruiser to the hospital. So my thing is we soft bill. You know, that means if they don't have insurance, we don't bill. They don't get a hard bill to pay the insurance, the ambulance transport. So why bill the citizens? I mean, it's totally up to you guys. It's just my suggestion being doing this for 28 years. So keep doing it in Drummond because it's a lot of ASTRA crews and stuff like that, auto insurance, auto accidents, the insurance company from the automobile pays the bills. It's smart to do in Drummond because we are billing and making the revenue. Down here is mostly Medicare's and stuff, you're not gonna make the money. So 100%, that's what you guys, I mean, that's my suggestion. You do what you do. If you set up with a company, it literally is.
I think if you want out of the billing, the commission should
I
mutually
don't
agree
have a
with the
problem with
termination of
that.
that.
I mean, we just gotta do it the right way. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
When you're not getting not for doing stuff, it's just kind of frustrating. And then when you hear this other crap, that's just like,
Well, and together, my thoughts, one thought I had on it is that even though it's a volunteer service, it's not a free service. Right.
Yeah.
No, there's no.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so my understanding was why we re-levied the Peaburg ambulances because they wanted the runs. And if you're gonna just decide we're not gonna do the runs, we're only gonna do local runs, what's the point? And then not get paid for it?
I would, yeah.
Because the revenue from the runs supplements the ambulances. And they rely on it because their mill levy value is not that great to the way they're spending the money. And there's no supplement of charges on there. So it just doesn't sound like they're.
But what's the underlying issue? I think is it numbers or is it leadership? Okay.
That's what it
Once
is.
Little John was here, it was actually going okay, sorry.
The other point, like I got asked, well, if they're counting, why can't they use Drummond? And I said, no, we're not gonna tap into somewhere else to cover it in when they're not.
They're what they,
If they're not, getting it in, why they can't take money out of Drummond?
Well, they can't.
No, that's.
separate tax.
Yeah, Little John operates in budget.
It's levied down here, Drummond, up here,
Yeah.
Peaburg. There's
Uh-huh.
completely.
That's statement.
Well, maybe since he's back now, that things will change. I'd give it.
He's
See
not
what-
back for another
Oh, he's not.
months.
Okay.
I'll be back in a month. And when I'm back, I have priorities set. I know I'm gone, but you guys still elected me and entrusted me to run the ambulance, so I will take responsibility for everything that's happened while I've been gone. I can't control everything that goes on. I had quite the extensive training getting into law enforcement, needed to focus on that. When I get back, I do plan on having some priorities set to get everything back in operating order. I do feel like when I was there running it, things were going smooth, things were going well. As Jason said, I was operating under budget. That's still a priority, is patient care in the community. Since I've been gone, we've gotten some new EMTs trained up, without, I guess, decent leadership there. They haven't really gotten the experience to be able to run calls by themselves. So when I'm back, I want to get those people up and running, and we'll have a more extensive volunteer base when I'm back to make these calls and get out more. I'd also like to sit down with Frank and Monica and see what they do with their association, kind of get on the same page, work through some of the stuff that we have issues with here in Phillipsburg, and get those kinks moved out. Like I said, when I first took over, my first priority was getting patient care back up. Now that we've kind of attained that and getting a volunteer base, we can start moving into the more admin side, getting things buttoned up that way, and move forward from there.
I can help with the EIN number and we can get going on that too, so, yeah, help you any way you need.
We're not throwing it all on him either. I mean, there's other people that should have came, you know, I didn't know.
No, I understand that, but I will take ownership of the ambulance. You guys entrusted me with it, even though I left. It was kind of a hasty hiring for me, and it was a very quick, you're going to the academy in Georgia, so I didn't really have time to set too much up as a back seat. But when I'm back, you know, I do have plans of some priorities to take care of and get things up and running again.
That sounds good, everybody there?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, when he was doing it under budget, he ran it good, they were running calls, he had to run every call. But,
Yeah.
but that being said, he
Yeah.
did, yes, so it's like Frank and Monica run every call. But that is your best option, we need to keep Little John happy.
Okay, so right now, you feel that you don't want to work with Peterborough Ambulance anymore
I don't wanna work with the county,
for the county?
not just like the commissioners, I guess that's not bad, cause I'm talking to county. Don't take it that way, please. I don't know a better way.
Thanks, Casey.
It's really, we haven't had a warm welcoming with the community at all, so. It's not personal to any of the breeding sitting up there, but yeah, we don't want to volunteer here. So it's why wake up and my next day shot to just get yelled at every day. It's just not.
Well, sorry that happened.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. Yeah, but are you willing to do some consulting with Robert Littlejohn to help him?
Well, we will definitely help you set up the EIN,
Okay.
because we just have to set up a separate LLC. So we'll go like, Phillipsburg Ambulance, like an LLC. Whatever you want the name of it, and then we can get the EIN from the feds, and then.
Phillipsburg Volunteer Ambulance.
Yep. And then.
Yeah,
we can get
that's one of the things on my list to get set up. I talked to Jason and Sarah about that a little bit ago, to get
Okay.
that set up, so we have our own tax number and everything.
As far as the getting new volunteers, is there a plan on like training and stuff like that? Or in the works?
So we have new volunteers that are trained up. I've got 3 new EMTs that have finished classes since I left. It's just a matter of getting them on the ambulance, getting them comfortable running calls, to get them, you know, up and running by themselves.
Oh, that's optimistic. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we can move ahead once we get back, get some leadership and then figure out what, get everything set up and start over again, right?
So who requests the Medicare VIN number?
It'd have to be Phillipsburg Ambulance.
So the Phillipsburg Ambulance?
Yeah, we'll get a plan together, get it done.
We'll take care of all that. So we'll get with Little John, so you guys don't have to worry about it, it'll be done.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The easiest way would be, if if Phillipsburg chose to go with Soulstone, they, create the EIN, get all the information and give it to Soulstone and they'll, do the
We'll
billing.
take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the issue of your agreement's not on the agenda, so I just figured that the agenda item and take care of it next week if that
Put
works.
it on next week. I just put it as a discussion. We're just trying to talk to her and find out stuff.
Well, we thought everyone was working together. Apparently, we had some miscommunication.
Probably having when he gets back, probably meeting with monthly for a while to see if, would that work?
Yeah.
Just to keep,
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, we've been out of the loop. Some of it's our fault, and we're not staying in the loop, but I mean, we'll fix, you don't hear nothing, but you think it's going good, and then you start seeing claims and stuff, and that's why I called Sarah, so why are we doing this? And she explained everything, so. Kind of threw it on your lap, right? Figure we better get it.
Yeah, so
Wow.
the donation that they got in is $7,500 from the ranch. It's great, but it's not great. So if you are gonna keep billing, we don't receive one patient care report and they get out for every call out there. So somebody from out there comes, gets the ambulance, goes, takes the call. That's great, but why are we billing the people we transport from out
Yeah,
there? So,
Cause you'd make more $7,500.
Yes,
yeah, you would.
Yes.
They're out there all the time.
so,
Really, that's
Just
just
saying.
kind of.
yeah,
that's a
that's,
whole separate
That's
issue.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought.
I just wanna say, in closing for me, is the drum dams, when we did our kind of study per se, for 3 years, we averaged 85 to 88% run average that we were able to make. And I would say within the last year, not January 1, but previous to that, we were probably right up to 95 to 99%. With since these guys came on and helped us out. 98%, because I think we missed.
Well, thank you.
Anyway,
Oh, I
so,
really appreciate everything, I mean, I used you, but, well, thank God you were there.
Yeah.
That's the thing, that's what we're trying to make it.
so
work
it's,
for everybody.
that's a good model of what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's working together and thanks.
well, not necessarily that, I just want you guys to tell them
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I guess then, to move on, we'll just make Cheryl and Robert get back, we'll sit down with him, but if you guys can work on this, and if you, on that, contract, or we can put it on for next week, and
Hey, David, you still on? I'm sorry. Is he still
David's
on?
on, yeah,
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay,
David, thank you.
so we're gonna set up a Phillipsburg ambulance and do their vetting number. I'll get you all the info.
Yeah, no, that's great. And like I said, I apologize for having to leave so quick. Not having
No.
a backup plan set up. It was a very quick, you're hired, you're going to Georgia for 6 months. And I, kind of blocked myself out from everything besides that so I could get my training done. And I, not a day went by that I wasn't worried about what was going on in the county. Jason knows I've texted him multiple times while I was out there, but
But this-
trying to get that done.
you've gone above and beyond for the county, so that it's, yeah, you're doing,
oh, yeah.
working on your profession and appreciate your help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I love helping out and I love being there. So when I get back, like I said, I will right the ship and we'll get things settled back in.
And we'll put their contract on for next week.
Just the billing or is it
Billing.
just the
Yeah.
billing? Okay.
Building.
Oh, the
Yeah.
lease on,
Yes.
okay, all right. So the lease and the billing.
Any other public comment on this? Other than that, all right, well, thanks, and sorry. It'll be in time. Anything more?
Sorry you're not appreciated.
Yeah. Oh, it's, yeah, not from you.
Thanks, Frank.
I appreciate you.
See you guys.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh, wow. That's sad, you get people. Especially when the volunteers, come on, the hell, you know.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Well, we're about 5 minutes behind, Mako Health Insurance and Information Assistance for County Employees update and on the health insurance option discussions. I put this on because I'm not sure I couldn't make it the day that they had a doctor's appointment. I couldn't make it the day to sign up for what you want. I just don't understand which one, or I'm confused on it.
So, okay. This is a personal thing then? For
No,
you?
there's other people too, but nobody wanted to say anything, I did. They're
What do you
not
mean?
quite, they're not quite sure what they should apply for or sign up for, and they're wondering if they could get another time when somebody could come over and help out.
Well, I don't,
Getting Joanne to come over again.
Yeah,
So, It might need to be by like Zoom or something, we're gonna ask her.
Yeah, someone on.
I'll have it down and,
Channel on there.
good morning. Oh, can't hear you, yeah.
I don't think your mic's on.
Oops. Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
Good morning, how are you?
Okay. Oh, good. Good morning. If this is just a matter of people need help to continue with their open enrollment, we're always available by phone, or if we need to set up a Zoom, or, if there's a lot of people, we could come back there later, but we're happy to help anybody over the phone.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, and if you need another day, we can always schedule to figure out another day. It would probably be towards the end of, and probably towards the middle
of
to
May.
end of May. Because we're on the road pretty much nonstop between now and then with the other county open enrollments, but we could probably find a day to pop over for an afternoon or a morning.
And legally, your employees have until June 15th. That's the deadline. So we started in Granite County very early, but employees have lots of time to still get with one of us to help them do their enrollment.
I was just given that, we got a letter from the clerk recorder that we have to be signed up by the 15th of May. You could ask.
Yeah,
So
today on by the end of, or May 15th.
So
do
what
you
is
guys
that? Go ahead, Pam, sorry.
how much are your employees paid?
I just didn't understand and like,
What is that?
can a person still, remember that one that we took off, the lowest one? I don't have it wrong.
Yeah, she put a higher deductible one on, right?
Yeah, it was the first one we had on there that we was gonna take off, cause there was only 2 people in it. Can they still join that? One person asked that. Or if it's gone now, do they have to join something else?
They would need to choose a new plan. But we can help them choose the best plan. I remember last year I was working with your employees till the very last day, helping them choose the best plan. And we're happy to do that again.
I guess that was my biggest concern, that, I've had people say, well, they're not sure, we changed stuff, and we don't know what would be a good plan and that, I guess that's the biggest problem, and on the other one, I think we got that sorted out the other day, you and I did, Pam, with Allegiance. But there's other people still complaining and trying to deal with Allegiance.
So I'd love to know who they are, because I've actually taken care of about 4 other people. So if you could encourage them to call, or if you can let me know who they are.
Yeah, I'll just let them get a hold of it.
Well, yeah, they shouldn't be.
I can't.
They
That's
shouldn't
why I'm
be.
not, when you said a personal thing, a lot of it's mine, I don't understand this, but there's other people that they're thinking they don't wanna be a pain, but they don't understand some of it.
Well, it's their.
Why they can't get Allegiance to call you back and stuff is one of the biggest deals.
So
What do you mean, call back and stuff?
Well, when you call them, you don't get a call back. It goes on and
When you
on.
call who?
Allegiance.
Yeah, so there's some customer service issues with Allegiance, and I think they're taking care of those. Hopefully.
Yeah, from the renewal. Can you hear me okay? This is Joanne. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when we were over for the renewal meeting, when Vera and I were there, you had mentioned some people that had issues, and we've followed up with every one of those individuals, and I believe everything's been resolved so far. If there's something outstanding that we're not aware of, please encourage them to call us, because we certainly want to make sure if there's anything outstanding that we get it resolved. And I do have a summary email from the people that were brought up at the renewal meeting that I will send to all of you. And it doesn't mention PHI, it just says like member 1 and member 2. just so you can see what the issue was and how it was resolved. Because I want to make sure that you have that level of detail.
So I guess on the other note, we just need to try to Zoom or sit down with you or something, go over, cause I don't know how many people have signed or haven't.
May
Well,
I
we
say
send, oh yeah,
May
go
I
ahead,
say-
Blanche.
It's just that you're saying we have advertised it very well with the employees stating that when Mako Healthcare Trust would be here, and it's up to the employee to make sure that they get here. If they can't, it's up to the employee to give them a call. It really is. And if they don't understand, you call Mako Healthcare Trust and they're going to help you. But they were here, and how many people showed up when you guys were here for the first enrollment?
Oh gosh, I could tell you that. Give me 1 second and I'll tell you that. Give me 1 second.
And if they're not gonna show up like they're supposed to, they need to be told by their supervisors that you have to go in and this is your enrollment, you need to figure
Yeah,
out
I think
what's
there
right
was
and what's
good
wrong.
notice on that open, on when they were here, so if I guess they missed it, they need to call in. I do hear what you're saying, you're sure concerned, I think they're working on them.
And I just wanted to mention too, Scott, you had given me a list of people over the phone of just people that you thought maybe had some concerns. And I have reached out to all of them, and I think that all of their issues have been dealt with. And just for example, last year I worked with Paul and I caught up with all of the road department guys. I think every single one of them before the end of the open enrollment would officially closed. So a lot of times, it's not convenient for road department guys to come in, and I think that I had reached out to everybody in the sheriff's department and maybe missed like 1 or 2 people that were off on vacation, but we typically will follow up and get more than 90% of the required participation number.
And 17 came in. The day that we were there, we got 17 people that came in.
Okay. So 17 people out of how many employees? About half of them,
Yeah.
about 30,
Yeah.
30 employees.
36 or something. So Scott, do you just want one of us to schedule an appointment with you to do your open enrollment?
We'd be happy to.
Sounds like that's the way it should be done. I guess I'm kind of getting threw under the bus because I brought it to attention. People are coming to me and then I bring it up and then it feels like yeah, I need to do mine.
Well, I don't think you're getting thrown under the bus, Scott.
That's the way I feel.
Apparently you didn't follow through on your enrollment and so
No,
you're
I
having
couldn't make
problems.
it that day and I'm still trying to figure out, cause yes, I'm not sure what you're supposed or which one is the better one for me. I've been arguing with them over and leave it more than I did, so. Yeah.
Well, that's a personal thing, that's not something that the board can decide.
And I didn't say that, I didn't know.
Well, it's on the agenda and I
It's
wasn't
just a
really sure what it
discussion,
was.
cause people wanted to talk.
Well, honestly, yeah, if there's anybody that wants to go through it, please give us a call. We would gladly just sit down and walk through what benefit plan would be best for them based on what's going on in their life and what medical situations they have going on. Because yeah, we would be more than happy to help them. And if there's a day that would make sense, if you're aware of, a handful of people that it would make more sense for us to dash over and spend a morning, let us know and we can coordinate on that date for sure.
And you said the deadline was June 15th for open enrollment?
Well, it is for us. I mean, to do it in the online system, we have to do it before the end of May. But if your payroll team might have a different cutoff. So if they gave you an earlier timeline, they might need that information sooner than what our deadline is.
So really what that kind of means, Paul, is let's say that we encourage everybody to get it done by the end of May because our online enrollment system is up and we know that all of the files will transfer in the electronic system, so Becky's bill will be clean, right? And we want a clean bill for Becky so that she can make sure that she gets the proper amount set up in people's HSA accounts, things like that. But, I've had people that have called me on, June 10th and said, hey, I've had a change in my health condition. I picked the wrong plan, or, something. Legally, they do have until June 15th. But if Becky's already ran payroll, then there would need to be a payroll adjustment. So that's just kind of why they like their deadline a little earlier, but employees do have legally until June 15th. I'm sure that makes sense to you. So.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
And Scott, if you want to, I can call you later and one of us can schedule an appointment with you if that works.
You bet.
All right. Thanks for letting us join your call.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Safe travel.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
So should we maybe send another reminder out to employees that they got until?
Give them Joanne's number, so make sure they have her number, or is it in that?
Well, there's this from payroll, but, so 17 for sure we know are taken care of.
Does that give Joanne's number at all? Cause sending that out with Joanne's
No,
number would be
this is
good. Okay.
Yeah, you can put our card, photocopy or a card on the
Yeah.
bottom of it or something. Can you
Yeah,
contact Joanne? Joanna?
I have her card if you, yeah.
So the payroll department needs their, MACO enrollment sheets by the 15th of May. So I guess it would be maybe the payroll department, if they haven't received, who they haven't received, to reach out and tell them that they have till the 15th. So I'm thinking she probably put a letter out, but we don't know who she put the letter out to, and we don't know who is needing them.
But potentially, I'm just throwing out an idea, Miranda sent that letter out with Joanne's contact information to everyone and said, if you got any questions, please contact Joanne, cause she
Right.
said she'll work with you on getting you.
No, and they go out of their way to
Yeah.
try to help you.
Too, I guess, right?
They do, they go out of their way.
But Mr. Allen's right, though, that Legion's has dropped the ball a lot, in my opinion, and they did say they're working with them to get that.
I don't have a problem with Mako. I don't.
Well, it's up to Mako to find out what's wrong with the Legions.
Yeah.
And we have no decision to say we don't like Legions and we don't want them. That's not our.
It's Mako's gotta
Mako.
work it out with
Legends
them.
was difficult to work with 12 years ago when I had them.
Yeah, and what they're saying is it's tough getting employees and getting them trained up, but still, I mean, we're dealing with some of the same issues over and over, you gotta get those resolved.
Well, should that be where like the employees are going to Mako, not us on that stuff? They're having problems or?
Well, I mean, we brought it up in the public meeting and
yeah.
Joanne's talking about it, but, I think if they're getting the problems that they're not getting resolved, I think, yeah, bring it up to the commission. That they're still the best insurance out there, I mean, but gotta get these resolved and all
Right.
well.
Donovan gonna be on, Miranda, from the airport?
I don't know.
So basically, commission's already approved that lease, they're just waiting for the rescission, so, I think, yeah, it'd be approved without him being here. He signed it.
This is on Michael Foley's, we've gone over it with quite a few years. So, I guess we're gonna entertain a motion on the. Michael Foley.
I motion to approve.
Accept the rescission of the lease by Michael Foley and enter into the lease with
Yeah, what he's.
South.
I'll
This-
second it.
Any public comment, oh, go ahead, Brenda.
This is the one the county owns, correct, and the Michael Foley, yeah, leads the hangar and no longer wants it.
Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion been carried and passed. That was our last one for today. Do you guys have any comments? No?
Did you sign the lease with, Solomon Jones?
I didn't think so. So,
You need to sign it,
Sign
you
it.
don't have?
Yeah.
Join the social security numbers.
that, I guess we'll adjourn, anything else?